Now we review the 2025 film, The Surrender. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so I have seen The Surrender. This was one of those films that sort of popped into my radar. Somebody got me a screener for it. Some dubious legality. Nimbus, what are you doing? Sweetheart. And my cat is being my cat. Yes. Here you go. Here you go. Sweetheart. Two cats in this room. I gotta give them both treats. Anyway, so The Surrender is a story of two women, a mother and a daughter, taking care of an ailing father. He is almost no longer verbal, and he's getting to this point where he's just very, very close to death. And, you know, how this family is falling apart because of it. The toll that this situation is taking on the mother, and therefore, by proxy, the daughter. Apologies for this. My Nimbus here is underweight, so I'm trying to get some weight on her. In any case, so you would say, how is this a horror movie? I would have to point out that this is the most horrific movie I've seen in quite some time, because there's nothing worse than family drama. Family drama is the pits to me. It's just one of those things. That's the first two acts of the movie. You know, is family drama. The true horror elements don't 100% come in until the very end of the film, in the last act, when things get really weird. And, you know, this is kind of when the true movie starts, but that would be a spoiler. Okay, let's just say that for the first two acts of this film, what you have is a movie that goes out there and is about pain and death and the end of life. And then, in the end, you have this insane body horror nightmare that feels almost like a fever dream compared to the rest of the movie. The juxtaposition of these two elements are actually an excellent metaphor for life, because in life we have family drama, which is a level of horror, and, you know, the economics of family drama. And then this can very much devolve into true horror, which is, you know, violence and carnage. And, you know, it does give you that question. What would you do to hold on to an ailing relative? I mean, when someone's at the end of their life, all you can really do is make them comfortable. I mean, people die. It's just one of those things. People will only live so long. But, you know, some of us just won't give up. And that's a horror in and to itself. I had a great Aunt Ruth, for example, and I used to go visit Great Aunt Ruth. Okay? And, you know, I don't know if she really knew I was there. I don't know when she passed away. No one ever told me. But that was when I was, you know, 5 and 6 years old. So I'm assuming Great Aunt Ruth, passed away 30 years ago easily. But my mother had a particular desire to visit Great Aunt Ruth and make sure that her relatives knew her. And that was one of those things. We love people even after who they are is somewhat gone and they're just that shell. And in the end, what does that shell become? How far do we go to preserve that shell? Those are questions that this movie poses. And then it shows you how far one person will go, and it's really top-notch horror when that happens. I did find this movie to be slow. I did. The surrender, however, it's one of those movies. I will say it is slightly above the middle of your watch list. It's a fun, particularly if you're a horror geek and you like body horror. There is some interesting body horror here and some very profound supernatural elements that happen in this film that I have to say were very much worth the watch. This is one of those slower burn movies that people are into nowadays. And whereas I found it slow personally, I know that A24 fans are going to love this. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. I'm Richard.
Ladies, gentlemen, and human-type persons, I am Sergeant Duck, and I am tasking you with commenting on this video. You should also like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with your friends and make a better, more disciplined world for you and for me.